Hallo alle zusammen, hier ist die nächste Folge unserer 5 Fragen an. Heute zum ersten Mal in Englisch, weil ich meinen lieben Freund Michael Mokhberi heute in der Leitung habe, den CEO von Apptus Technologies. Good afternoon, Micha.
Good afternoon, Florian.
I just mentioned briefly that it is the first episode that we will do in English because, I'm really glad to welcome you first from a business perspective as CEO of Apptus, but for sure also as a long friend that I know for almost ages now. And I'm really glad that you can maybe give us also a few answers based on the perspective out of the Nordic countries in Europe.
It's my pleasure.
First question, I think this is a valid one in these times. How are you? Is everything all right?
Oh yeah, we are just fine. It's strange times these days. And we have focused on adjusting our business, primarily with the focus on keeping our staff safe. Mm-hmm. So that has been the top of my priority. So this all results in working more from home. The social distancing is more important, but we are also trying to adapt to the needs of our customers. Many of our customers are experiencing a huge boom in their business online. And it is, of course, important. What we provide is a business critical component in their software stack. And it is, of course, important that we don't have disturbances in our service delivery. Mm-hmm. So this sudden change to the new way of working has been very learnful to all of us.
This is what I hear quite often at the moment, that some people really call it more or less a digital accelerator, or however you want to call it. So if we talk a little bit about what do you think, what will be the conclusions or also the requirements that the business will see right now immediately, but also if we think a few weeks or months ahead, what are the things that retailers really need to make themselves aware of, and what do they need to really do now?
Well, I totally agree that we see that many of our clients from the retail sector, they are realizing the importance of the digital channels, and all of the initiatives that they have had are suddenly accelerated right now, and the requirement for accelerating the launch of these initiatives is like coming in on a daily basis. I believe that many of our customers have seen a change of behavior within their respective customer bases. And we have tried, at Apptus, we work with behavioral data quite a lot. Our technology is based on AI that is applied on behavioral data. So And we have customers from about 20 different sectors or categories within retail. So we have had the opportunity to look closer at the behavioral data and see what is it that is the major changes really in the data. And what we can see is that the elderly have truly started to use online services in a different way and at a different level that we could see before. And this introduction of the elderly into e-commerce as a segment, of course, not only touches the use of different functions on the site, but it also touches the segments of products and the assortment categories. So we suddenly see that categories and product groups that before were not as popular are suddenly booming up. And the upsell strategies and the cross-sell strategies suddenly need to be reconsidered and replanned. So many of our customers have had this on their agenda. And luckily with our kind of technology, it is totally automated, so you don't need to manually segment everything and pinpoint which product should be exposed to which segment. So this whole process has been automated, but this was a really good school example of how fast the market can change in terms of the requirements and how new micro segments can be created and blow up, and how new sectors within the product assortment can suddenly be valid and relevant more than ever. So this has been an experience that we haven't really seen as clearly before as we see now.
And would you agree? I had a chat with Moritz Zimmermann from Hybris a few days ago, or SAP Customer Experience now. He mentioned also that you can see a similar change of behavior in the payment, for example, especially in Germany, completely different in Sweden, I know, but in Germany, people still want to pay cash. Right now, everyone pays digital whenever it's possible. So seems a little bit like this could be also a push towards this automation of merchandising that you just mentioned, where I think you also had a lot of struggle to convince many people in the past because they wanted to do manual things. So is this kind of a trend that you see in also the conversations you have with customers and prospects?
Definitely, definitely. As I said, the introduction of these new user types and the introduction of these new ways of buying the assortment and suddenly shifting focus to special areas within the assortment base has led to also other cascade effects, such as preferred payment options, preferred delivery options, etc. And I actually believe that some of these changes are not just temporary. These changes are going to kind of dig themselves deeper into the natural behavior of the users. And they are probably, these changes, some of these changes are probably here to stay.
That's going to be interesting to see if it's really just a temporary thing or if it lasts. If we think a little bit more about, based on also what you said, you have customers from 20 different segments, industries. Is there kind of a pattern where you could say there are the winners, there are the losers of this special situation? Are there some areas where you really see they are positively exploding with their business?
Well, you know, I believe that there are different categories of winners in, at least in our customer base. We see, I have to start by being honest, there are some companies that we see have truly big difficulties right now. And what we see is that what they all have in common, the ones who have had a really tough time right now, or even have announced bankruptcy, what they all have in common is that it is the offline side of the business that have costs that are so high, so that even if the online side of the business is up 30% or 50% traffic-wise, the offline part still drowns them. And what also most of these companies have had in common is that even before the Corona crisis, their financial status was not really tip-top. So in our customer base, we don't actually have any customers who just looked perfect before Corona and then suddenly changed and ended up somewhere totally else. So that category, and it's a rather small category. I can say maybe it's 5% of the clients that we deal with that have had that. But then let's talk about the winners, because that's what I really like to talk about. I see two categories of winners. I see the short-time winners or short-term winners in our client base, and these are companies like food and health products, you know, hand sanitizers. We see companies who deliver online entertainment. They have boomed. So these are companies who happen to have an assortment that is highly requested right now. But we also have long-term winners. We see companies who have really figured out how to use this additional boost in traffic that they got now in order to partly expose other parts of their assortment to the clients who come in to buy hand sanitizers, so that they kind of raise their level of brand recognition and awareness of assortment for the customers. But also companies who try to wow the clients with their customer experience and boost the loyalty to their brand.
Mm-hmm.
And these are the clients that we see have managed to really boost their retention. And it's not just a matter of the clients coming in once. We see that clients who never came in suddenly come in once a week.
Yeah.
And those, I believe, are the long-term winners, the people who manage to kind of use this little boost of traffic in order to dig themselves deeper into the buying mind of the clients.
It's going to be interesting to mirror that also maybe a little bit in the future. If you would to advise some of the retailers out there, what would be the topics where you would say these are the things you definitely need to prioritize now, and what are the things where you would say, okay, nice to have, no need to really rush that through right now, but what are the things where you really think this is key to maybe not only survival, but really making you ready for the next weeks and months?
You know, I talk on a daily basis with the CEOs and business owners in our client base. And I got to say that I've never met people so committed and so knowledgeable. So I'm not going to go through the basics. You know, everybody knows that, okay, there is a cash problem right now. There is, you need to have your offline stores under control. So I'm not going to touch those topics. I would rather like to talk about those things that are easy to forget during this period of time. And what I would like to put my finger on is the employees. You know, when you start having fire on the deck everywhere, it's easy to forget about the people who are on the boat, you know, and who are your staff. I believe one of the things that should be prioritized is how do we take care of our competent, skilled personnel so that we minimize the impact of competence loss. Mm-hmm. If we now need to cut down on resources, if we now need to restructure our costs, how do we make this as employee-friendly as possible? And how do we restructure our investments in a way so that we maintain the loyalty of our employees? Mm-hmm. So that's one of the things that I would like to raise. The other thing is the brand. You know, in this, everybody knows that retail is struggling right now. The employees knows that, the customers know that, the suppliers know that, everybody know that. Now, what I believe differs one brand from another is how people perceive the brand's behavior during the tough times. You know, it's like a friend. Your best friend are not the only ones who are with you during the happy time. Your best friends are the ones who also kind of are near you and take care of you during the sad times and the sorrowful times. And I believe it's really a great opportunity for many brands out there to show what their brand really is about.
Mm-hmm. Very, very interesting parts to really take a look at. My last question, Nisha, if you think 6 months ahead, and I know that no one knows where we'll stand then, but I think it's a very interesting question, also looking back then maybe at that time, and also maybe compare a little bit how also all the other guests that we are welcoming in this series are answering that. Where are we now, 6 months ahead? What will be the situation
then? You know, Florian, you and I, we are incurable optimists, both of us. So I got to say, you know, in Sweden, we have this program called Dancing with the Stars, where they bring in celebrities and they do dances. What I would love to see in 6 months is the state epidemiologists of our respective countries on this program, Dancing with the Stars. In the specific Swedish case of things, I would like to see our well-known state epidemiologist, Anders Tegnell, do a rumba. That's what I would like to see.
So positive looking into the future and also some hope that we are getting back to more normality than we have in these days?
Come on. The Western civilization is a great civilization. We are a group of amazing people in Europe. Our closest market is, Northern Europe. Our closest partner in business is Germany. And I meet so many dedicated, engaged, highly competent people on a daily basis who have managed to solve much bigger problems than this problem. So I'm pretty convinced that we will handle this, that we will get by. The future is still bright, and together we will solve this.
Great. Thank you so much, Misha, for your time. And some really great answers, and I hope we will be able to meet us also personally soon again. So have a great afternoon, and talk to you soon. Thank you.
Looking forward to it. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.